Hey, everybody. If you want the full uncensored episode, be sure to click the link below to join the Fight Club on Patreon. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Paul Baxter. I fought him. I hit him. He slashed me. I chopped him back. And then I was skating by and he got me with a stick, cut me. I tried to fight him. He turtled on me.
Yeah.
He's in the penalty box. He's, fuck you, I'll get you in the other eye. And I'm sitting there, I'm fucking pissed, right? And I look down, there's a bucket of pucks, frozen. I grabbed the fucking puck. I stood up and rifled it right off his head. He got like 8 stitches.
That'll be a suspension. That'll be a fine. Nyland going ballistic. He's a freaking madman.
I'm Chris Nyland, and this is the Raw Knuckles Podcast. Let's get into it right away off the hop here. Life after hockey for you, Matthew. You know, we all have that transition period when we leave sports. Tim's had it, I've had it, a bunch of guys have had it. I have struggled. How was it for you transitioning out of the game into the real world?
Yeah, it was actually pretty seamless for me. My last year was in Dallas in 2007. My son was playing hockey. He was, I believe, around 8 years old, 9 years old. My daughter was 5, and I just wanted to, I probably could have stretched it out another year or two, but I really wanted to get into the media. So I stopped. I loved always doing interviews with whether it be ESPN, TSN, whoever it may be. And I just thought it would be a transition that I wanted to do. So I started doing some stuff my last year when I was hurt during the playoffs. So it was a pretty easy transition. I moved into doing radio, doing TV with TSN. A couple of years later, got the job with ESPN. So that part of it was great. I thought I'd just do that and play golf every day, but you know, playing golf every day and it gets a little old after a few months. So it was pretty easy, to be honest. And I coached my son, which took up a lot of my time. And for a guy that's as obsessive compulsive as I am, downtime is not good. So, you know, coaching my son, working a ton, it was a pretty easy transition, I'd say, at the start.
Did you stay in Dallas? Were you in Dallas right when you retired?
No. If I look back on it, I wish I would have stayed in Dallas. One of my favorite spots. I went to good old Buffalo, New York, where my wife's family was from. I had a ton of friends there, but listen, I love Dallas. I was only there for a year, but Texas is one of my favorite spots in the United States and North America. Great people, great food, great weather, great golf. You name it, they got it. No state tax is a pretty good thing too.
It's funny. I was with Bob Gainey the other day, and he talked to, you know, his GM there for years, but he talked so highly of Texas. He said it's an incredible place, Chris, to play and to live and just everything. He said he loved it, you know. You grew up in Ottawa. Now, a single parent home, grew up with your mom. How much did that have to do with shaping you as a young man and developing you into the person you are today?
I think it's probably the biggest reason on who I am today, and probably the driving force to play hockey at an elite level. You know, everyone always, like, I never met my dad. He left before, you know, I was old enough to have known him. So I never missed him. And that's, some people say that's weird or whatever it may be. But to me, he was never part of my life, so I never missed him. I had a great mother, single parent, hard worker, social worker. My grandmother was very close with us. And my brother's 14 years older, so kind of acted more like a father figure probably than a brother. So yeah, it shaped me. It taught me that you got to work hard to get what you want. I didn't have a lot growing up, but I also didn't need. It's not like I was starving for food. I had anything I needed, but I didn't, you know, first vacation I ever went on was my first road trip to Florida. It was the first time I'd ever really been on vacation. It wasn't a hockey tournament. So yeah, it certainly shapes you when you grow up with humble beginnings. But like I said, it wasn't as bad as some people have it. I was very fortunate that I had a lot of love, and I appreciate everything that I have today.
Did your brother play hockey?
He didn't. They couldn't afford it when he was growing up. So he was more of a boxer and played football, and just always loved hockey. So when I came into the world, and as I got a little bit older, and being Canadian, it's like almost our rite of passage. You're going to play hockey unless you suck, and then you find something else to do. But we're going to throw you into hockey and see if you can do that. So I ended up being pretty good at it and working hard at it, and had my trials and tribulations along the way only because of my size. I didn't grow till I was 16. So in Bantam, I got cut twice. In midget, I got cut, and then I grew. I grew at 17 years old. I was a very, very late developer and was drafted last overall in the Quebec League. And fortunately, I was able to find a niche and find a way to make Beauport, which is just outside of Quebec City, and had a great coach in Alain Chénier, who was also a scout for the Quebec Nordiques for years, and Anaheim Mighty Ducks. I think when opportunity meets, the opportunity to work hard, you take advantage of it, and hopefully you have some great people that believe in you along the way.
So, Matt, you're growing up in Ottawa. They have a team now, but back then they didn't have a team. Were you a Habs fan? Were you a Leaf fan? What was the deal growing up?
Knuckles, you were my man. You and Matt Snaslin. I was a huge fan, man. I was again, the Habs were my team. It was my brother's team. So again, since I was the age of 4, I think I could recite every number and every player. It was almost a quiz every single night. And there's nothing I loved more than watching. We'd have 2 TVs on, Montreal and the Toronto games. Toronto games were fun because it was always like 10-8, and we'd go play hockey with my brother's work and come back and watch, either Edmonton or Calgary late. So it was hockey. But yeah, the Habs were my team. I love the instigators. I love the tough guys. And then for some reason, I was a talented kid growing up. I was really small, so I loved Mats Naslund.
Mats Naslund.
Yeah.
Matt, he's
Is that
awesome guy.
That's who you would try to model your game after, you'd think?
I always tried, I always tried to be a skilled guy. And when I didn't grow, I had to find another niche. I was always an instigator and joking with buddies and always being the comedic guy in the locker room and around school, whatever it may be. But when I hadn't developed and I went to my junior camp, I'd never fought before. And after a few days at camp, my mom and brother and grandmother said they were coming down. I was like, probably don't come down. I'm probably not going to make the team. They were just so much bigger and stronger and faster. And I felt like I was just as talented as them, but I couldn't really accomplish anything at the time. And my brother just said, stand out. He didn't say to fight. He didn't say to be an instigator, whatever it may be. And I just looked the 3rd, 4th day of camp, and I looked next to me, and there was a French guy. I don't even know his name. I was like, who's the toughest guy out here? Mm-hmm. And he looks over and he points to a 20-year-old Guy Lefebvre, who was like 6'3", 225. I was about 5'11", 148. And I was like, fuck it, let's go for it. And I fought him 3 times in the next 3 shifts and got the shit kicked out of me, and proceeded to fight 13 times in the next 3 or 4 days. And I don't think I landed the punch. And, Alain Chénier just said, I love your heart and love that you're willing to do anything to make the team. And played every game that year. I didn't play a ton, but played every game. So yeah, that's kind of when I took my game to a totally different spot and never looked back.
Calling all hockey lovers. Upgrade your podcast experience by becoming an enforcer. Gain access to the greatest hockey doc ever, The Last Gladiators. And don't settle for ordinary. Join the Fight Club over on Patreon today.
What was the night before games for you? Would you get butterflies? Would you get nervous about fighting?
Not at all. Not the night before. I'd play cards with the guys, go for a steak, have a bottle of wine. With the guys, we'd be out. It was the afternoons. It's once morning skate was over, and I'm 51 years old. I still can't nap in the afternoon because the correlation between napping and having to fight Brashear or Ty or any of the heavyweights sets in your mind. Like you leave, you fly into Philadelphia, you have your dinner, you go to morning skate, you have your lunch, and now you're like, oh, okay. It's like prepping for a school fight when you're in grade 9,
Waiting to get out of class.
yeah, you're looking at the clock and you're like, okay, my jaw could get broken, my eye socket could get broken in about 5 hours. Now, once I walked into the room at 5 o'clock, or I was always early, 4 o'clock to 4:30, I was there. Once I walked into that room, I wasn't nervous anymore. I turned into completely a different guy. But from 12 o'clock in the afternoon till 4:30, man, your mind just wanders, man. Is he a lefty? Is he a righty? How does he like to throw? Like, this could happen. And when you're playing a lot, you don't think about it as much as when you're the only guy that does it and you know it has to happen, especially if something bad or there was a lot of fights or something, between Philadelphia and us. It happened a lot between Montreal when they had a ton of guys on their team that fought a lot. Interdivision, always very tough when teams are tough. So those were the hard parts, was the afternoon naps, not the night before.
Yeah, that Adams division was awesome back in the day. Fucking tough division. And I certainly understand that. The night before I was fine. Afternoon I slept good too. When I got to the rink though, that's when it started.
Okay.
My head started going, and I'd be thinking, who's a lefty, who's a righty,
Yeah.
who am I going to fight? Those things. A lot of similarities, no question about it. I watched Fuck You, Are a Pain in the Ass. And honestly, for me, watching it, I like that. No, but I like that in a player, and a guy that would drop his gloves. I had a teammate, Claude Lemieux, who was a big pain in the fucking ass, but he never dropped his glove.
Yeah.
You drop your gloves, you back it up. Pepe here and there would. I watched an interview with you, Scott Oak, saying how unpopular you were in the league. And for me, I look at it, if you're popular with your teammates and fucking everybody else hates you, that's fine. And then you talk a lot in a lot of interviews. I heard you say, well, it's entertainment. How much for you was the entertainment part, and how much was it you sticking up for your teammates?
I think there's a 3-part prong to that question. First, I'm going to stick up for my teammates every day of the week. You have to have your teammates back. I want them to have my back. Unless it's the playoffs, I would say, I don't give a fuck what they do to me. You do not come in. Let's get a penalty. Let's get a power play, draw the penalty. I'll take a punch in the face, whatever. Entertainment is the part past trying to win. When I went into a game, I went in to piss off people. When I went into Philadelphia or Montreal or Toronto, whoever it may be, I want to be enemy number one. I'm going to go after your star and give them a little stick. I'm going to go after their tough guy. I'm going to mock the guys. I'm going to say shit about your family, not kids. Kids and dogs are off limit. Wives and mistresses are fully on board. So I want them to get fucking pissed off. I want them to slash me. I want them to punch me. And I want us to get a power play, and the bruises don't hurt when Pat LaFontaine or McGillney or Yager or Lemieux or Messier or Sakic scores a goal on the power play. And I'm going to try to suck them into a penalty. I'm not going to drop my gloves sometimes. I want them to be infuriated with me and try to fucking take my head off. And then when it's time that I want to fight, or I feel it's the right time, we're down 2 goals, we're up 3 goals, it's the end of the game. Now I'm going to answer the bell, because if I'm going to act like that, I always felt a responsibility to show it. Even if I'm going to take a beating, even if it's Stu Grimson, I have 0 chance, or Chara, whoever it may be, I'm going to stand up and take that. I'm going to answer the bell at some point. So 3-part question, standing up for your teammates, paramount, number 1. Draw a penalty, it's about winning, number 2. And 3, fuck, we're in the entertainment business. Let's love it. Everyone loves to be popular. Everyone loves the accolades. Everyone loves all those things that go along with being a professional athlete.
So did you prefer to? So would you prefer to score a goal or fight? You probably had that question. What would you prefer?
And I'd say it's equal. I'd say it's equal unless we're in the playoffs. In the playoffs, when I ended up scoring a hat trick against Montreal, my childhood team, on Mother's Day. that and the draft are my two biggest memories of the NHL. But man, there's nothing. Listen, fans love goal scorers, they love goalies, and they love fighters. Yeah. And the women out there, when you're younger and doing it, they're the same way, and they might like the fighters a lot more.
Fuck.
Oh shit. So, oh god. Doug, you fucking spun me for that one.
Hey, my nickname in junior was McDonald's, over a billion served.
Oh jeez. So, all right, you play the game and you can score goals. Me, I love my job. I was probably more didn't want to lose a fight, and I watch you fight, and you were good at doing this, turning your head. You're fighting bigger guys. You got to be smart. You were a smart fighter. You protected yourself well that way. You're predominant righty, right? But yeah. I've seen you in your fights throw lefts. Did you have to work on that? Because I did. My left at the beginning was a fucking wet noodle. Yeah. And I really worked at it, because the odd time I would pull it out, because everybody thought I was always righty, and I got better at it. But did you find that helped you in some fights? Exactly the same way. I went through junior and was able, my last 2 years, to not worry about throwing lefts. I was smart enough technically to be able to work my way around it, because they weren't men. So I was able to work around it. When I got to the NHL and was fighting guys like Rob Ray and Brad May in training camp, and then going on from there, and guys were big and they knew I was a righty. If you're only a one-trick pony, it's pretty easy to defend in that league with the size that they are. So, I had the wet noodle for a long time too, and it was never the same power as a right. Not that I was a power puncher by no means. I played at 188 to 192 pounds. But yeah, it was more to set it up than anything. Set up the right, if I can catch them off guard. That's why I smiled a lot, trying to get them pissed off, and maybe they let down their guard a little bit. But yeah, I worked on the left a lot, just in case I had to go left. All different scenarios in fighting, but it's paramount. It's a necessity at that level to be able to at least throw both hands, even if it's not as good as your right.
Yeah, I had that problem too. My left was
right?
No, I'm just kidding. No. You didn't know whether my gloves were glued on. I couldn't get them. I was stuck there.
My son plays in the East Coast League, and hey, trust me, I tell him to keep the gloves on. It's the game's changed, and it's okay.
Was the smiling, was that from juniors? Did you always smile when you're fighting like that? Or
you know what? Yeah, because my first year I played at 148 pounds in junior, and I was fighting like. It was the wild, wild west back then in the Quebec League with Sandy McCarthy and John Kovacs, Gino Ojek. I mean, you name them, they were in that league. It was pretty crazy. You're taking punches, and like Knuckles said, I was very good at avoiding the big punch. But when you're especially at home, like I played in Quebec City and Beauport, when you're at home and you're fighting, let's just say Sandy McCarthy, and he's throwing 10 punches and you haven't thrown one yet, you got to kind of show something, first of all, that he's not hurting you. Second of all, you have to give your fans something that maybe you're actually winning. Maybe this is what you want, and trying to find a way out. And so I would kind of let them punch and try to avoid the big one, maybe graze here and there, but smile at him to piss him off. And then maybe he'd if you ever lose your composure in a fight, that's when you're at your worst. So technically breathing, thinking your way around it, watching where the punch is coming from. And for me, laughing at them kind of played into my advantage, because they want to hit me even harder, but now they'd get out of their style, or they'd try something. They lose their shit. Yeah. And when you start flailing away and opening up, now I can get a little jab in up top, or I can hit you in the ribs, or try to sneak up an uppercut, right? So now I'm going to make it look like, now I might have, at the end of the fight, he might have had 15 punches thrown, I might have had 5, But because I laughed at him the whole time, even if I didn't win the fight, crowd thinks I won, or my team thinks I won, or my coach and my teammates are like, fuck, this guy's going up against this guy so big, and he's fucking laughing at him. So it's more of a mental warfare than the physical at that point.
A lot of similarities. I'm telling you, the technical part of the fight game, I had to get because, again, guys like Dave Brown back in the day, Brian Curran, all these guys that were bigger than me. If I realized in the night I realized it, I fought Jonathan first, then I fought O'Reilly. O'Reilly, I knew was a lefty, and I'm going, fuck this, I'm going to go. And I hit him, boom, and he come back and hit me with 2 lefts, and I couldn't fucking see anything. The blood just poured out of my head. And I went back to the penalty box, I remember. And I'm sitting there, and I was like a bruised little fucking baby boy. I'm telling you, I loved O'Reilly growing up, and fuck, he's looking over at me. I'm wiping my blood off, and he's looking. I look over at him, and he looks at me, he goes like that, and I'm like, fuck you. I love you, and I hate you.
I love Terry.
Oh fuck, and. I remember that night sitting there, and I said, if I fucking continue to fight like that, wide open all the time, I'm not going to be around long. So that's when I started, okay, I got to know he's a lefty or righty. I got to take his strength away and fight the way I want to fight, not the way he wants me to fight. And it proved to be, like, really good for my career moving forward. And I totally changed that. It helped me with fighting Brownie. Yeah, it helped me fighting Barnaby when he had no jersey on, all those things. But I remember, and we talked about lefties, I remember fighting Barnaby one night in Philly when I was with the Rangers. And he got going. He got his right hand going pretty good. And I was resisting. I could feel him starting to get tired, but I had my head turned like you do. And nothing was doing any damage. And probably about the 7th time he swung, I just felt him starting to tire, and I let go, and I hit him with a quick left, and he just fucking boom, and then I grabbed him, and it set me up, and you said it, set you up for the right hand again. I started coming with so a lot of people think, okay, it's great you just stand there and fire away, but some guys have to fight technically smart to be able to last and be around and not look like you lose all the time. You know what I mean?
It's funny you say that with the left with Berube. I fought him in a 5-on-5 in the playoffs. We were winning the series, and Talk took the face off, and he fought Tyler Wright, and I squared off with Berube, and I was kind of holding on, watching the other fights, watching him, and he was trying to throw, and I caught him with a left, but it wasn't that hard, but I fell on top of him. And the announcers are going nuts. Oh, he got him with a left, and I barely caught him, but I fell on top of him. So the next game, he's like, "Fuck you, Barney," and I love Chief. He's the best.
He's the best.
He's right? Like, let's go again. Let's go again. I go, not a fucking chance will I ever fight you again. I got the belt, baby. Can you imagine like watching Matt Rempe? How the fuck does that guy ever get hit? He should never.
He should never get hit.
Yeah. Ever. And he eats more knuckles in 3 games than we lasted in 30 years combined of playing in the NHL. It's insane. Like, just learn how to fight technically. I don't care how big you are. If you get punched 9 times in the face in every fight, you're not going to last long.
No. You're not going to last long. It's funny you say that because we talked about that, Tim and I. And Rempe, I saw him working with George, throwing uppercuts, right? Fucking uppercuts. Like, come on. Like,
he's not going to be able to throw an uppercut.
No.
He's 9 inches taller than everyone else.
Jack and the fucking beanstalk. He's going to fight. The only way he'll throw an uppercut. But
so you guys think if you guys had like the technology like today, would you guys been studying fights the night before?
I did some with the tapes the way that they were.
Okay.
I had them cut. And the one thing, I remember when Todd Fedoruk got called up from the minors, and I was in Pittsburgh. Rob Ray was in Buffalo, and Buffalo played Philly the night before, and Razor fought Todd in the fridge for a reason. I mean, he's a thick bastard. He's like 6'1", 240, 250. He's a big boy. And Razor sent me a text. He's like, "Hey, Barney, do not fight this kid. He's the fucking real deal." So what do I do first shift? I'm like, "Hey, Fridge, let's go." He's like, "You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah." He fucking hit me 4 times with a left. He forgot to tell me that he was a lefty. Fucking just smoked me, cut me over the eye, but yeah, you learn. The longer you're in the league, and then you start to learn. You start to talk to people that are traded. All that. You brought up a funny a name that I haven't heard in a while. Brian Curran. My first year. Happy Feet. Oh, yeah. Ugliest skater you've ever seen in your life. I can't remember who he was playing for in the minors, but it was my first year. I was 20 years old. And purely by accident, like the second period, I went to lift his stick, and I caught him right in the eye and split him for like 15 stitches over the eye. So he leaves the game. He's sour, and he's a tough bastard. He leaves the game. I get kicked out of the game, because high sticking major. So I go to my room, but he has to get stitched up. So he's getting stitched up like literally 15 feet away on the other side of a wall. And all I hear is, "Fuck that kid. Fuck that punk. I'm going to fucking kill him." Well, I'm taking my jersey off. I'm like, "Fuck this." I jump on him as he's getting stitched up and fucking punching him on the table. Now we get up. He's got a needle sticking out of his eye. We're rolling around outside. Now the cops are coming in. They're trying to separate us, and we're rolling around on the concrete in Rochester. It was fucking hilarious. In the article, yeah, it was great. I never played against him again there. Played against him in the NHL a couple of times, but we never fought. And it was just one of those crazy minor league stories.
Get into the action with Fight Club, Raw Knuckles' new exclusive Patreon. From ad-free episodes to uncensored content and discounts on merch, there's something for every hockey fan. Join the Fight Club today.
So, like, think of that. Now, when I talk about similarities, Paul Baxter, I fought him. I hit him, he slashed me, I chopped him back, and then I was skating by and he got me with a stick, cut me. I tried to fight him, he turtled on me.
Yeah.
He's in the penalty box. He's, "Fuck you, I'll get you in the other eye." And I'm sitting there, I'm fucking pissed, right? And I look down, there's a bucket of pucks, frozen. I grabbed the fucking puck. I stood up and rifled it right off his head. He got like 8 stitches. So we got to go get stitched up. I got to get stitched up. So we're in the forum. He goes before me. So I know he's in the room. I fucking flew through the door. They had security in there already. They all jumped on me, right? And Baxter told the story out there. This is fucking funny. And Dr. Mulder, poor bastard, he's in there trying to stitch him up. So they get me out of the room. They bring me back in the locker room. And Baxter is getting up off the table saying, "Wait a second, Doc." Doc said, "Just don't worry. It's under control. Just lay that." No, he said he went over and grabbed his hockey stick because his gloves and stick were on the floor. And he grabbed his stick and he laid it next to him on the table. And he said to the doc, "If he fucking comes back in this room, you're going to be stitching his fucking head up." So he said, "Don't worry about him. We're going to stitch him up." He told the story. It's hilarious. But
That's
it's so
great.
funny. You did that to Curran. I did that to Baxter. God, there's something going on here, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities.
Yeah, it's called mental instability is what it's called. Your good buddy Lyle Lodolai. Me and him had a good...
Odie. I love Odie.
Oh, I love Odie too. He's...
right. Were you with him in Pitt? Was that it?
No, I was never with him. I fought against him when he was in Jersey a bunch of times. We had some run-ins, and I said he looked like fucking... the guy from Planet of the Apes during the playoff run, and then he said my wife looked like that, and whatever. So we fought a bunch, and then he goes to Columbus, and I'm with Pittsburgh, and we're playing them in an exhibition game in Columbus, and it was just brand new Columbus, and we're walking out like both teams together for an exhibition game before a warm up. I was like, "Fuck you." I'm like, "Fuck you, Odie. I'll fucking kill you." He's like, "Yeah, come on now." Fucking, we're rolling around before the game, just fucking going at each other. I get into the game. I can't remember if he played or not. I fight Christoph Olawa. I played 9 seconds in the game and had 3 fights with Christoph. And it was literally just stupid. But I never talked to Odie. Everyone says you would love Odie. You would love him off the ice. You guys are 2 peas in a pod. I never talked to him till about 8 years ago, and I heard he was really, really sick because of his accident that he had while playing golf, and he almost died. And I called our PR guy in Pittsburgh. I'm like, is there any way I can get Lyle Odeline's number? I said, I know we fucking hate each other, but we're a brotherhood, and I heard what happened. So I talked to him, and fuck, he's the best. He's great.
He's a sweetheart.
Yeah. What happened in golf? What was the golf thing? What happened in golf?
He got hit with a shooting porcupine that affected his immune system, and he almost died. He had like $5 million in surgeries, like literally, like to save his life. They put him in
a coma too, right?
Yeah.
He was in a self-induced coma.
Yeah. But it was like a shooting poisonous porcupine that can affect your nervous system. Yeah.
He was in rough shape. He bounced back big time, though.
Yeah.
I saw him at the 100-year anniversary up here when he came to that, and it was after that it happened. And
okay.
He just started kind of, coming out of it and feeling better. But boy, it had an effect on him, no question about it.
If I knew he only had half a thumb or half a finger, whatever it is, I would have fought him differently.
He always used to go, "We're number one." He'd hold his stub up like, "We're number one." He'd go, funny as a bastard. I was with him, my last year, and we talked about. We had Twister on, and we were in Quebec City playing. And Twister's on, they throw him out against me, and Twister's there, hey, fucking old man, we're fucking going. And Odie's on the ice with me, and he's fucking, fuck you, Twister. He's screaming at him, right? The puck drops, he flies right by me. The puck goes in their end and just fucking jumps on Twister and starts getting. And they didn't talk the longest time, and they were buddies too.
Wow.
But they've kind of put it to rest. But Odie was always like, no one's fucking gonna disrespect you, Knuckles. He was awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It felt good because honestly, I was alone for a lot of time till John Porter came.
Yeah.
Not alone. I was the only guy fighting, but I had teammates like Shelly was a great teammate that way. Larry Robinson. Yeah. I had guys, Mike McPhee, that would, stick in for you. But
you're still
there was no other real fighter, right?
You're still on an island.
Yeah, a little bit,
Fucking Twister, when you'd walk into St. Louis, he had he was jacked like this, fucking handlebar mustache, and he'd sit there and you had to walk by the room and he'd cut his stick down and his arms were out like this. And he'd just look at you. Oh, man, I was like, he was a no-go for me. Him and Joey Kosher were the two only no-goes. I was like, not a fucking chance. Zero chance.
Twister the story used to sit in the bench there in Chicago Stadium. He'd go and fucking sit on their bench while they're warming up morning skate with that T-shirt on, drinking their fucking water bottle. Watching their practice.
Waiting for someone to stare at him in the eyes.
Fuck.
I was young and I'm running around like an idiot. And in the game before, so Twister's coming along the blue line. We're in St. Louis. And he goes, hey, kid, you're not going to be running around tonight, are you? I go, fuck you. Yes, I am. So I line up beside him. And he goes, kid, you want to go? I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, not really. And Razor switches with me. Ted Nolan goes, switch. And Razor fights him. He breaks Razor's orbital bone. He looks like Rocky Dennis. He's out 10 weeks with a broken orbital bone. His fucking nose is on the other side of his face. He comes up to me and goes, you going to still run around, kid? I'm like, nope. Fuck.
He throws fucking bombs.
He punches through your face.
Yeah, it hurts.
No, thank you.
Fuck. So, couple things. One, do you have a soft side? One, and I guess describe Matthew today away from the rink. Is there something we don't know about Matthew Barnaby that maybe the people would like to know about?
I am completely different off the ice. Completely. I cry at The Blind Side. There's not a movie I pretty well don't cry at. If I watched a Hallmark movie,
sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm a very emotional person that way. You know exactly what you're getting. I can put up a hard front, and I can be the most stubborn motherfucker you've ever met. But I'm also very emotional, especially when it comes to my kids and everything that they do. I'm much softer than than my image portrays, and I'm completely different than the guy. Listen, I like to have fun and I like to joke around and all that, but you're not going to see me getting into a fight at the pub up the street or with my buddies. So yeah, that's it. I love to play golf. I love to have fun with my buddies. I love to travel, but for the most part, love to work out. And that's really about it. I'm pretty simple when it comes down to it.
Yeah. You certainly played with a lot of emotion and spirit. Looking back, and you had a great career. There's no question about it. But would you have changed anything looking back? Would you have said, maybe I should have done this different? Do you have any regrets at all?
People always say,
ask me that. People ask me, and I have no regrets.
Yeah.
I remember I hit Middleton. I fucking hit him with the back of my glove and fucking knocked his teeth out. And I regret doing that. I really do. But I have regrets.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has regrets. If you don't, I don't think if you don't have a regret in life, you're pretty narcissistic to say that you've done everything right in your life. Everyone said, do you regret not winning a Stanley Cup? Well, no, I don't regret it because it's not like I did anything. I tried to fucking win it. I feel bad that I never won a Stanley Cup. There's nothing else I would have. I'd rather be than to be a Stanley Cup champion, but that's not a regret. I regret being a little immature when I asked to get traded from Buffalo to Pittsburgh, or just that trade in general. Just because I maybe would have been able to play in Buffalo my whole career, and I think that would have been pretty cool. Part of me would have liked to fight a little bit less and concentrate. I think I could have been like a 500-point guy and maybe had 150 fights instead of 250 fights and 300 points. But again, we go back to I found a niche, I found a role, and that's kind of what put bread on the table, and it made me successful within my role on a team in helping us win. So I would say my regrets were less career oriented, more stuff that happened off the ice, getting a DWI because I drank too much, kicking my wife's garage door because I was going through divorce and had drinks. All the bad things that have happened to me embarrassed my kids. So those are the regretful things that I have in my life, not so much career wise, but things that have happened away from the game of hockey more than things more of a personal level.
Oh, thanks for
you tried coaching.
Honesty.
You tried coaching though? You did try coaching at one point, didn't you?
I only went coaching in the OHL because one of my best friends was the head coach, Jay McKee, who I play with in Buffalo, asked me to be his assistant coach. So I went there for a year and a bit, and different dynamic. I don't want to get into that, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun coaching really good players between the ages of 16 and 20 and helping them and molding them and giving what you learned in the years that you played, not only in the NHL, but junior, and taking you back to, I had a kid my son was the same age as these kids at the same time. So I really bonded really well with that kid. I really enjoyed it, but it's a lot of work.
Are you ready to take your love for hockey to the next level? Join the Fight Club Raw Knuckles exclusive Patreon to unlock amazing perks like ad-free episodes, bonus interviews, and even a chance to win a game day experience with me in the Habs Cave. Don't miss out on this ultimate hockey experience. Your last season, I think, in Dallas, didn't you have to retire?
Yeah.
Because of concussion. Now, I joined that program at Boston University, the one Proby's wife donated his brain. She kind of...
For CTE, yeah.
We had her on, and she actually prodded me to go in there and get checked out, and I did. And listen, I don't sit back and think, oh my God, I'm going to get this. I don't live my life like that. But it was awesome going there to find out. A couple things I found out is where one of the big things is where I am cognitively and neurologically at this time in my life. And I line up pretty good with somebody my age, my cognitive ability and neurological side of it. So it was kind of nice to know that. And I go back every year and get tested because it helps to see if there's any downside or any slip where you are cognitively. So it's a great program. Dr. Alasko at Boston University, they're always looking for more hockey players. So maybe that's something down the road. If you'd be interested. If you
have the contact info, I'd love to do it. Just I'm all open to donating my brain after I'm gone. Hopefully it's years and years down there. And listen, I can still masturbate, so I'm still doing well.
Life's still good.
When that happens, then it's all downhill from there. But I would love to know where I am on the scale. But knock on wood, I feel pretty good right now.
I can set you up with that if you want. That's awesome. So
the masturbation part, or the
are you a righty? Are you a righty or a lefty?
I can't set you up with that.
Hey, you're in Montreal. Come on.
You can always go to. Where are you living now, Matthew?
I'm in Ottawa. Oh,
in Ottawa. So you're right up the road. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be spending a lot of the winter months in Florida, but I'm in Ottawa. Yeah.
Where do you go in Florida?
I was in Naples, but headed to Fort Myers because my buddies just opened a restaurant down there, so I'm going to spend a lot of time down there and play some golf. And my son's just outside of Boston, so I'll make a lot of trips.
Where is he?
He's in Worcester.
Oh, he's playing there in Worcester?
Yeah. Cool. Worcester, sorry.
Worcester.
Worcester.
Geez, I don't think I think I've asked you about everything we can ask you. Well, you know what? I haven't really. We had Ty on, and I love Ty.
Yeah.
A couple things. Yeah, Rob Ray. Didn't you guys have dinner one night? You're good buddies, your roommates, and then you two fought the next night?
Yeah, I fucking hated Ty. I think we fought like 5 times, and I hated them. And now I'm in a group chat with Ty and Rick Tockett, and I love Talk. He was my coach and just a great dude. And Ty's an awesome dude, man. Tough as nails, man. Just talk about a guy that can eat a punch. Rempe can't eat him like he can. I know that. But Razor, I just got traded to Pittsburgh, and we went back to my house when I came back the first time to play Buffalo. So we came over, we had a pasta dinner, had a bottle of wine. My wife was there, my kids were there. And, the next day I'm running around. Now it's the first time I'm ever back in Buffalo. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to run around and hit everyone in sight because I'm playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins now. Buffalo, you're out of my mind. Yeah. And I'm going to piss off Lindy Ruff because we didn't get along at the time. And Razor just literally came up beside me in like the second period. He's like, "Hey, Barney, you got to fucking stop. Lindy sent me out here." He's like, "Slow down or we got to fight." I'm like, "You know me, dude. You've known me for 9 years. Like, I'm not slowing down." He's like, "Well, we got to go." So when puck went around, comes at me, and he fucking comes at me, and I kind of chopped him with a stick right on his fucking neck. I saw that. And he fucking whacks me back. So we go at it, and Razor's stronger. He's tougher than I am, but here's what I know. We have a wet noodle. He doesn't even have a noodle. I know he can't throw the left. So I got the right, and he's throwing, and I'm laughing at him. And again, it's one of those things. Now he's throwing, and he's getting mad because he's supposed to beat me up in Buffalo. And I just keep laughing and laughing and laughing at him. And now he's getting fucking infuriated. Like, I don't even think I threw more than 2 punches in the whole fight, but I'm laughing, and he's pissed off, and he's just screaming at me, and the fans are going nuts. So, hey, after the game, my wife was fucking sour with him. She went after her and just yelled at him. I'm like, it's just a game. It's a fucking game. I gave him a hug. I said, "I'll see you in a few weeks, and hopefully we don't have to do this again. But if we do, whatever." And I was like, "I thought you were going to throw the left at some point." He goes, "Fuck that."
So, Lindy awesome. Ruff, you said it. Like, you didn't like him then? You like him now?
Yeah, you know what? And again,
he was one of my favorite teammates. He was one of the funniest guys I ever fucking played with.
Awesome, and I didn't see that at the start, and it was my fault. I said earlier,
and we don't, right?
Yeah,
we don't.
I was immature because he came in and replaced the guy that gave me the chance in Ted Nolan.
Yeah.
And I took it to heart, and I'm like, fuck this guy. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
and I thought Lindy came into our team a little arrogant and a little he was just very arrogant. And ever since I'd say the last 15 years, he's a funny bastard. He is fun. He's a great guy. And what I've always said, and this is even, he is a great coach. Yeah. He is a great coach. And he is the right guy to go back to Buffalo and lead this group. If there's a team,
they're lost. They were
coach,
fucking lost.
13 years. 13 years they haven't made the playoffs. But if there's a guy that can get the best out of that group, it's Lindy Ruff. X's and O's, he's got it all. He really is.
He's Buffalo too. He's Buffalo.
Yes, and he's matured as a coach. He's done a lot of good things. And listen, we all make mistakes. My mistake was not giving him a chance and kind of being an arrogant fuck on the other side, because we had some fucking battles, man. We almost fought in the dressing room about 3 times.
Oh fuck!
I threw my skate right
imagine.
through. I threw my skate right through a big screen TV right in front of him.
Oh fuck!
I told him get in his car and drive to a parking lot 15 miles away, and I just kicked the fuck out of him right in front of the whole team.
The parallels when I think when Lemaire left Montreal as a coach, they brought in Jean Perron. No one liked Jean Perron. Yeah. Fucking like a lot of guys didn't like him, but
he was a
very
weasel.
Similar. And I get where you're coming from when it comes to that. But and quickly about Ted, because Ted Nolan, like I said, I had an enormous amount of respect for that guy, and even more so when I found out the true story, because we heard all the rumblings.
Oh yeah, like
he slept
with
Hasek's
wife, and he was showering with Pat LaFontaine, all this fucking.
And it was John Muckler, right? He wanted to fucking put Pat out there with a concussion, and fucking he wouldn't do it. Ted Nolan
There's so
wouldn't
much
do
shit
it.
behind the scenes that we used to call our team the schmozzle, because every day was a different debacle and schmozzle. It was just it was Teddy against John, and then it was Hasek. So half our team was with Patty, and half our team was with Hasek. And like the year, John, who gave me a chance. Like I don't want to. He's passed away, and he gave me a chance to play in the NHL. Drafted me, but he pitted the Europeans against the Canadians and Dom against Patty, essentially. Awful.
I love Ted Nolan, and
Great.
He got so screwed there, and. When I found out the real, and we had him on, I said, I want to put this to rest, because I've heard all these fucking rumors. It's ridiculous. And he's one of the nicest guys to have ever played the game, that guy. And I mean that. Like,
no way he would have fucked Hasek's wife. Not a chance.
Yeah. Anyway. Listen, Matthew, it's been awesome having you. I really appreciate you taking the time. A lot of fun, and quickly, the latest I saw, fuck my head. I gotta go get checked again.
Yeah,
I'll go with you.
We know a place.
We'll get a 2 for 1 special.
I saw you working out again, and you're gonna stop drinking for a while. What's that with? What's going on there?
Nothing happened. It just seems like I'm a full go guy at all times. If I play hockey, I go 100%. If I golf, I hit balls for fucking hours upon hours. If I work out, I'll train for 4 hours at a time. I absolutely love it. But same thing goes with drinking. And I've never done a hard drug. I've never done cocaine. If I did cocaine, I'd fucking I'd be gone, man.
I'd blow up.
I would fucking my buddies always saying they joke around. They go, people do cocaine to get to the level you're at. Hey, you don't need cocaine. So I've never done it. It's probably the smartest thing in my life. But, you go to a golf tournament and I have a beer. I can't have one beer. I don't have to have a beer. It doesn't bother me not to have a beer. It doesn't bother me to go to a bar and have water. It doesn't bother me to go to dinner with my wife and she drinks two glasses of wine, because she can stop at 2 glasses of wine. I have 1 sip of wine. I'm drinking 2 bottles.
There you go.
I have 1 beer. I'm drinking 15 beers. I have 1 vodka. I'm drinking fucking half a bottle. So it doesn't bother me at all to be around it and not drink it. I feel better. So I was just like, I'm not going to say I'm never going to have a drink again because I'm not going to be a hypocrite that way. I'm going to Europe in 3 months. I'm going to have some wine. But once I leave Europe, I won't drink. And I'm not going to, on a daily basis, when I get bored, go to the pub and have a beer because that one beer turns into 7. And then the next day, my buddy's like, let's play golf. Let's have a beer. Well, that turns into 12 because it's 5 hours. And then it's just reciprocal. It just happens day after day after day. And you're like, fuck, now I'm not working out. Now I'm not doing this. So it's just a lifestyle change more than anything. And I want to, in 10 years, I want to be able to see my penis when I look down and not have the gut hanging over it.
I know a guy like that. Tim, do you know a guy like that?
I might know a guy like that.
Yeah. I
know a couple guys.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. So
anyway.
I posted it out there because, and the only reason I posted it on Twitter, I did it on Instagram. I just said 10 days, no alcohol, whatever. And everyone was like sending me messages. So a lot of people are like us, and listen, I'm not embarrassed of things that I fucked up or who I am. If I can help someone saying like, I'm doing this, I'm not saying like, hey, I've had a lot of fun partying and having drinks. And I'm not going to say like, oh my God, some people can go have 2 or 3 drinks. I'm just not that person.
I'm not either. So, Matthew Barnaby, he is a piece of work, funny, engaging, emotional, full of spirit, just the way he played the game, right?
He was awesome. Very
really
authentic, it felt like. It was just a real, you know what I mean? You were getting what you, he was great. He was really fun.
And could play hockey, right? He wasn't just a tough guy, but boy, that face, the smiling all the time, fucking that would piss people off.
Fucking bother me,
Right? Right?
Well, good on him to be able to kind of use that as a tool, kind of, right? Like,
made
that was
a nice
part of
career.
that was part of his strategy, right? Like,
right?
No, he definitely, he was fun to watch too. He was entertaining. Talks about being entertaining. He was entertaining.
I knew nothing of him, right? Until I started, when I retired, I watched a little bit. And then that first year, I wasn't watching a lot of hockey. And then I started watching again. I'm like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
He had himself a great career. Certainly did his job and was a big part of those teams he played on. There's no question. Good for him.